time. And you know what that means. It's time for another episode of AEW New Era, where we are taking AEW into this new sort of landscape that they've built and see what we can do while managing our momentum and managing all the drama that comes from having to book a hot wrestling promotion. Now that we're in a couple episodes deep, the momentum chips will now be pretty much active. And what that means is that we have to maintain the momentum of our company. And if we don't, we're going to start losing chips. Now, losing some chips is not a big deal. We can gain them back. Obviously, our objectives mean that we're going to lose a lot if we fail to reach these objectives. But in general, we're okay. Now, what happens when we lose an entire stack? Well, bad things start to happen. And what that's going to simulate is the fact that we are Cody, and sort of that the Cody booking may start to come into play as we lose chips. So, we're going to have, a separate issue, basically, than just the objectives that will come into play if we ever go down to down a stack. So that's very bad. How we can lose or gain them outside of the objectives is show averages. So right now, we've gone through enough to have a pretty solid average. And the average right now, rounding up, is 64. Now, here's how this is going to work. And this could change over the course of the show. As of right now, seems like this is how it's going to work for us. We will gain a momentum point if we are 5 or more over our average for a show. And that average will be updated regularly. 0 points will be added if we're between 1 and 4 points above our average. -1 momentum chips if we are exactly average. So if our next show is a 64, we will lose a point because while we did meet our current momentum, we're not doing enough to foster it, right? So, stagnicity is death. -2 if we're below by 1 to 3 points, or 1 to 4 points, I should say, and -3 if we are below 5 or more for a show. So that's bad because that's a lot of chips. It doesn't look it, but it's a lot of chips. So that's bad news. We got to maintain that momentum. Just hitting that average is not good enough. So we have to kind of be careful. So, a show like Dynamite here, perfect. A show like this here, not good. A Rampage, very bad. Our Rampages might kill us. But this Rampage would be fine. This Dynamite would be fine. Or this All Out would be fine. So we have to be a little bit careful. But that average is going to adjust. So if we start to do successful, it's going to be harder and harder. As if we start doing poorer, eventually the momentum will drop for us. So it won't be that big of a deal. But it is something we're going to have to manage. Now, we have Grand Slam in 6 days. And we have Rampage tonight. The unfortunate thing is I wanted to get this tournament done, the King of Trios. It's not going to happen. I could potentially do a double duty and do 10 Angels and Cabana tonight versus Matt Hardy, Butcher, and the Blade, and then have team of Nightmare Factory versus the Best Friends tonight, and then in the semis, we could do Christian Jungle Boy Luchasaurus on Grand Slam versus whoever's going to win, and then the final. So we could do double duty for him. It's kind of unfair, though. I don't really want to do it. I kind of wanted this done, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So it is what it is. It's not a big deal. One of the things I do want to set up, though, is I want to make Dark a developmental company. So in the real world right now, they just moved. This is now going to be, maybe like a week or two old, but they just started doing Dark shows in Orlando. they're kind of breaking them off to be more of a focused developmental show and a product, and I think that would be a good option for us. We have a lot of capital, and I think it's a good idea to make it a developmental show. And I think that also means that we could probably stop booking Dark Elevation, and we could just bundle it into a pre-show and still get the same effect and not have to have an extra layer of booking that we don't really need. So I think that's what we're probably going to do. It's more for simplicity's sake, but also I just don't think we need all of that. So that's kind of going to be the what I think I'm going to do here. So let's go ahead and jump into investments. We're going to invest into a new company. Okay, we got that all set up. We got Don Callis, and we're excited to put QT Marshall as the head booker. Just makes kind of sense for him to kind of be in charge of that area. So a problem is we have a show, and I don't seem to be able to change our broadcast standards. Let me know if you guys have run into this. Let me know how we do this for a sister company, because I can't actually get them on like YouTube, which is a problem. I'm not sure why. I'm wondering if that'll automatically happen with the CEO after we sim, and maybe it won't be an issue. But let me know if you guys have experience with that, because I don't really deal with the child companies that much. So, that would be helpful to know. Now, I think we're done with Elevation for now. So I think I'm going to look at this, and I think we're going to make this dormant for now. I think it is... Oh, it's still on the air. Ugh. Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, we're keeping Elevation, apparently. It's just an unneeded hassle to run when we could just do pre-shows on the shows and effectively do the same thing. So that'll be my preferred way to do it, but it doesn't look like there is a way to run that, unfortunately, with how we have this set up at the moment. Whatever, man. Okay, that's fine. That's a bummer. That's annoying, but that is what it is. Now, we do have to send some people down for Dark. So I want to look at who is on the bottom of our card that we think we can send down and probably do have some benefit of sending for developmental. I think Abaddon. I would say a Go-Go probably, but right now we have a thing with them. So the Bear Brothers, we'll send down to developmental. Let them build some popularity down there. Not really going to do anything with them right now. Big Swole we could send down. Cutler we're going to keep up. Brock needs to go down to Florida. Cesar Benoni probably needs to go. The Gun Club does, but we're working with them right now, so we will keep them down there. Darius is still injured. Dante will keep up. Fuego will keep up. Griff will keep up. Probably Kylan. Keep Layla Hirsch up for now. I think Luther and Serpentico will send down for a bit. Just give them some time to do their thing. This will also keep them off the show from complaints. So just people that we're not using right now, we're going to send out a developmental that we don't really have a major plan for. Like, I would be fine with sending the Seidel brothers down for now. I don't know if they necessarily need developmental, but it'll help them boost maybe their popularity until we bring them back up. Nick Camarado probably needs to, but we're working with him right now, so that's fine as well. That we'll keep them up here for now. Sean Dean needs to get sent down. Sonny Kiss needs to be sent down. Red Velvet honestly needs to be sent down. JD Drake probably needs to be sent down. Kip Sabian does not, but I might send him down anyways. Shockingly, nobody has had a complaint yet about being sent down. The Bunny probably doesn't. Check recognizable real quick. I think that's really it in terms of maybe. So she's got a crazy inlay popularity, but I think we should send her down for a little bit until we move her into a major storyline or something. I think that's it. Yeah. It also just loosens it up a little bit so we don't have to worry so much about everybody. And then they can hire their own people, and then we can look at developmental as we need to. That roster is not huge for them. They don't really have a lot of people. But not the end of the world. As we said, we might send some more people down there, honestly, because we have a pretty large. I might want to see whose momentum, and that might be also how we end up doing it, is like whose momentum is low, because that might be something that might be a deciding factor on. Listen, we're not doing anything with this person right now, and we don't really need to. Minimum, maximum, neutral. So like all these guys, we're not doing anything with, and we just want a wrestler. Well, it's sent Christian Cage to the development. Like Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy might actually benefit from going down there, to be honest. So we will send them for a bit, and we can always bring them back whenever we need to. And we'll deal with that a little bit more later. But right now, it's not important. We're not going to deal with any more of that we need to. We do have some mail. That's just all of that fun stuff about the developmental. Hopefully they get that production going. But right now we got Rampage tomorrow. Do we have to book? We also have a production warning saying that apparently New Japan of America and NXT are running majestic quality productions, which is $75,000 a show plus $50,000 a month. I'll hold off on it. I'll take the penalty, even though that might hurt our momentum a little bit. But that's insane. So we'll look at that later. But for now, let's get to Rampage. All right, we do have some backstage instances we have to worry about, so let's go ahead and take a look what that is. Something involving Sting and Matt Jackson, brought before a wrestler's court, accused of being absorbed in his phone. Oh, poor Matt Jackson. And then Matt Hardy and Daniel Garcia, oddly enough, something else happened here. Taking Daniel Garcia under his wing as a protege. Interesting. So that's a relationship we might be able to play around with. We'll meddle. And why not? No effect. Interesting. Absent workers tonight. Well, Anna Jay's still injured. Hangman we gave time off. Brandy's still on maternity leave. Chris Jericho is working for New Japan. Darius is injured. Lance Archer's working for New Japan. Max Caster is out because he did a no-no thing. He hasn't been back yet, and Trent is unfortunately injured. Jericho and Lance Archer can work over there. That's fine. How we got Kota Ibushi was actually sending Chris Jericho on excursion, so that ends up being a a good trade-off for our storyline here. All right, let's book this show, and let's see what we can do, and hopefully we can beat that average of 64, and we won't have a problem. All right, guys, we are ready. Don't think we have many issues with booking, except for one thing, but I'm not sure. These rampages are going to kill our momentum, because I don't think we're going to beat a 64 here. But let's give it a shot, because we are still booking for story. So, hey, listen, if we lose some chips, we lose some chips. So let's go ahead, let's book this rampage. So we start off with a very good segment. 68 with Kota Ibushi and Bryan Danielson opened the show with a promo. It got the show off to a strong start, which is unfortunate because I have a actual work the crowd match after this, so that was a mistake. But Bryan starts off with a promo, comes out to a hot crowd saying how much he loves being able to wrestle again, and how excited he is to have seen the surprise debut of the Golden Star Kota Ibushi last Dynamite. So he's got his heart aflutter seeing that, because for years, while he was in WWE, one of the short list of names that was on that list, one of the names on his short list of people that he never really got a chance to wrestle with was Kota Ibushi. He says he was following him closely in Japan. It says he's always viewed him as almost a mirror image of himself, and he requests an exhibition match tonight. He wants to challenge Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi comes out the stage without saying anything. He looks at him, respectfully bows, and implicitly accepts the challenge. Ibushi's language barrier is holding him back a bit. We might need to partner him up with somebody that can speak English, though this was just a charisma, so it shouldn't really have done much. He underperformed in this, unfortunately, and then Bryan worked the crowd immensely, so that's kind of what to expect. 68, though, still not too bad. 41 for this isn't horrible. We got Ruby Soho and Riho versus Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb, kind of tacitly a Team NWA almost. I know some viewers have been wanting us to buy out the NWA, which I definitely have a plan for that. I would love to. We just have to see if they are going to go under, and if they are, we should be able to take them over. I think they would make a great alliance title, so it would be a nice addition. Right now, they are not part of our alliance because they have some other alliance in the save with Championship Wrestling, so that's why they are not part of this. This is a decent match. Ruby Soho defeats Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb in 6 minutes. Ruby Soho pins Serena Deeb. We're trying to build up Ruby Soho a little bit. We have a problem in AEW with our women's division. There are no stars. So we really need to build up Ruby and Thunder and Britt into the star category. They are only considered recognizable. Very much an issue for us. Unfortunately, this match is... it's fine, but it's not great, which is part of the problem here. Definitely a weaker segment, but overall, it gets the job done. We build up the Ruby Soho as a challenger. Hopefully gets a little bit of a rub with Serena Deeb taking the pin, and we protect Thunder Rosa by not having her be pinned. We have Malachi Black as he continues to go through the Nightmare family. He fights Lee Johnson with a pretty bad match, 42. Malachi has a 60. Lee Johnson has a 16. We kick his head off straight to developmental. Had terrible wrestling. Malachi Black does defeat him with a black mass. He came out looking very good, which was the goal. But boy, yeah, not great here. Cody comes out to make the save. Does a little acting work on Malachi. Black ends up just retreating. Obviously, they are coming to a head. They're going to have a match. But, you know, we were kind of building that up there. 59 is not great either for us. Oh, boy. This main event better really bang. And I don't think it's going to. So, but we build up that Cody Rhodes story a little bit there. We have part of our tournament. or at least it's supposed to be. Yes, it is. Okay. Allen Angels, 10, and Colt Cabana to Dark Order versus the Hardy Family Office, Matt Hardy, The Butcher, and The Blade. Subpar wrestling, but decent reaction from the crowd. Hardy Family Office moves forward. Dark Order fails to win and move on in the Trios tournament. Everybody's all over the place here. Yeah. Not a great showing from anybody in particular. Segment ratings a 48. This angle is a little bit better. Afterwards, the remainder of the Dark Order who came out with them are disappointed in the loss. There's a little bit of a tension between Evil Uno and John Silver. The two start kind of arguing back and forth, starting to build up a bit of a fracture now that Hangman's not there. Evil Uno, though, did very poor while trying to improvise dialogue. I thought I just set him to acting, but apparently that was a problem as well. We gain heat for the storyline, and John Silver is still sort of getting that public support groundswell that boosts him up, but a 51, not great. Oh man, this is a much worse match than I expected. Kota Ibushi versus Bryan. Oh, look at that. Tony Schiavone and Mark Henry really clash horribly when together at the announce table. That's good to know. It's a good match, but boy, it could have been better. Ibushi versus Danielson. Danielson actually loses here. We keep him looking good, but Ibushi beats Danielson, building up a little bit of credibility for him versus Kenny Omega. Danielson obviously getting his first loss after getting a Kamigoe, and keeping that respect for Kota Ibushi. Unfortunately, though, for a main event, not looking great. Afterwards, Danielson goes to shake Kota Ibushi's hand for the win as a sign of respect. They do so, but then the Elite come out to interrupt the event. Kenny going full heel is just a lunatic at this point, and he goes, you've really got a lot of nerve to show up here, he says to Kota Ibushi. Years ago, I didn't want to ask you to be here, and it's because I thought you would have squandered away your opportunity. You had a shot in New Japan to be something special. Well, those opportunities that you had now come and gone, and honestly, I finally surpassed you. So you know what? You want a shot at me? You want to use me as a stepping stone so you can go back to Japan with all the accolades? No way. Kenny and crew attack Kota Ibushi. Their friendship seemingly gone. Danielson and Ibushi fend them off as Kenny has just gone fully insane. Danielson and Ibushi are able to clean out the Elite, leaving just Kenny and the three of them in the ring until the crowd freaks out as Jon Moxley sneaks up from behind and attacks Danielson, leading to all four starting to brawl, individually fighting their pairs. All four men end up kind of getting to a standstill, none of them really able to topple the other. One man standing in each corner, poised to kind of attack the other, looking exactly like equals. The refs end up coming out. A zebra stampede ends up stampeding down here and breaking up the chaos and ending the show with Moxley versus Danielson, Kenny Omega versus Ibushi, and the Elite completely sucker punched on the ground. Brandon Cutler looked dreadful selling, apparently, so that's unfortunate. Gets us a 56. Yeah, we're not looking good here. Yeah, we got a 50. So we lose 3 points. Very bad. So 3 chips gone already. Not great for us. It's not what we want. But not the end of the world yet. But yeah, that's not a great start. These rampages are going to kill us. Definitely, especially booking like this. The good news is that 50 is going to be added to our average, so at least maybe the next bout will be a little bit less for us. All right, what do we got going on here? Nothing important there, really. Got a 1.24 rating for the show. But yeah, that was a problem. that was not a great show for us. I do want to see what's going on here, if they've finally figured out their broadcasting. No, they haven't. So I got to figure out how to do that. I might have to. I don't know what I have to do to get them scheduled. So if someone knows what's going on there, let me know. I might just be missing something very obvious, but I would have thought that there would be a production option and I could just like switch, but clearly that's not the case. So I don't know what to do for our child company now. We do have some morale issues. Jake Hager upset about what? Being left off Rampage. Well, seriously? Well, you know what? Oh well. Okay, some minor morale issues. Okay, so this is going to be the name of the game. Is going to be a lot of morale issues here. Is going to be a problem. Now, we have Grand Slam 4 days. What we have to do, we have to remember here, is to go into Dynamite. And, well, you know what? We have to fast forward. And then we have to remember to make it dormant. Or not dormant, but move it to a different day. And then move it back afterwards in order to actually run these events. It's kind of clunky, but it'll allow us to make it an event that day for Grand Slam, make it a little bit more important. We're still running our 64 momentum for our average, so we have to really throw... hopefully we, Grand Slam this and really hit it out of the park, and maybe we can regain some of those chips in the same episode, which would be nice. Or we'll lose more. It'll be a problem. All right, let's keep on going. All right, guys, we are back. We went through our Dark Elevation, because I can't get rid of it. We did have some problems. Colton Gunn and Sean Spears got injured during it, so that's always a problem. But it did okay. Otherwise, Hangman is now back, so we can start to implement him into stories if we need to. We have Grand Slam, and we have to get Dynamite. So here's the trick. If you're ever running this, you want to modify the show, and you want to have it held on Tuesday or the day before, right? So you change that, and now it's gone. It'll be there for the next week, and you have to remember to change it back. So that is how, if you want to run a AEW style TV focused event and have it on the same night as one of their shows, that is how you do it, and you won't have a penalty or anything like that. So we have Grand Slam tonight. What do we have going on in Grand Slam? Well, we have the semis of our tournament. Now, still just a 2-hour show. So, and we have a problem of, people are going to be upset if they're not on the show and things like that. So we're going to have to kind of pay attention to that. We might just do some pre-shows to help out with that. But it's definitely something that we're going to have to worry about. So, we just have to be careful. We're going to run into issues probably because people seem to be very needy. It might honestly be something. It is something that you can take off, I believe, in preferences. I believe it is like I already got rid of disposition change timing because I think it's just so unneededly long. But left off, you can enable left off of show complaints. Might be something we look into if it becomes too much of a problem, if the roster's too big. Let me know in the comments what you feel about that, if we should get rid of it, we should just try to manage it. I don't mind trying to manage it, but if it's going to be like a monsoon, like unreasonable, unrealistic monsoon, we might get rid of it. But let me know what you guys think. Let's get to Grand Slam. Let's put on a hell of a show. And hopefully we'll gain some momentum chips back, or else we'll be seeing what happens if you lose a stack very quickly. Arthur Ashe Stadium has been pre-booked. Sean Spears out injured. Darius is out injured. They should both be okay. They shouldn't be too bad. One was a concussion, one was like a sprain. It wasn't that big of a deal, but that is the danger of running these dark shows. We're going to be on TNT. No problems. I'm going to open forum. I'm just going to let some people get their grievances out. Kind of curious what. Because Ray's upset because he's the one that injured him. So that's a problem. All right, let's book the show. We have just a regular 120 minutes. We're gonna do some pre-shows. That'll be our version of Dark. They won't be on TV, but they'll be for the crowd. Give people some opportunity while they're in the stadium to do some stuff. They won't be story focused, but that is how we'll book it. And let's see if we can put on a good show. Main event, obviously, we got a big one with Kota Ibushi versus Kenny Omega. And that'll be an interesting little bout. And a bunch of other matches as well. I mean, actually, the card is pretty stacked, so we should have a pretty solid show, I think. But we'll have to find out. Let's see. Oh, that's a big show. All right, we got 4 pre-show matches. We've used the entire hour for the pre-show time to get people on. I think I might turn off that penalty because, boy, this is a lot to run for nothing, really. It still gives people bonuses, so it's not the end of the world. We got a packed show. I still think people are going to be unhappy, but it's a pretty decent show. I'm pretty happy with what we have. Will this beat the 64? I hope so, but I honestly don't know. But let's check out Grand Slam at Arthur Ashe Stadium. We start the show off with a pre-show, The Acclaim versus Men of the Year. Didn't have much heat, had terrible wrestling. We allow Scorpio Sky to pin Max Caster. It's fine. It's whatever. We have Lance Archer versus Joey Janela in a very quick match. Lance Archer puts away Joey Janela. We have a elimination tournament, and we have Nyla Rose, we have Thunder Rosa winning the pre-show elimination tournament gauntlet here. It's fine. It's not much to say about it. Kind of where you would expect everyone to be, but we give Thunder Rosa a win on the pre-show and give everybody else something to do. We also, on the pre-show, have the Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle, with the Pinnacle winning, MJF pinning Jake Hager with a Swanton Bomb. Swanton Bomb? Swanton Bomb. What did I just say? Swanton Bomb. That's not even a thing. 53, it's not too bad on this. Santana sustained a strained wrist here. Just injuries abound. Very, very, very bad here. Strained wrist is not the end of the world, though. We start the show proper with our tournament. Christian Cage and Jurassic Express in their trios tournament match against the Hardy Family Office. In this match, Christian Cage, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus defeat the Hardy Family Office in 9 minutes. Jungle Boy gets the pin, pins the Butcher after a Canadian Destroyer, and moves on to the finals of the tournament. This is a 59. It's not too bad. Everybody did pretty good here. Christian Cage being the standout in-ring performer. Jungle Boy, though, catching up. Interesting. Gained some heat for the tournament and the story going on here. Gets the show off to a strong start. I moved some people around because to make sure people aren't unhappy. I moved some announcers in and out. So right now we got Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur calling the show as normal. But at some point I put in Paul White. I put in Mark Henry to make sure they weren't upset about not being on the show either. Gets us a 59. It's a pretty good way to start a show. Afterwards, we have a pretty good angle here. Jungle Boy and Christian in ring celebrating, moving on to the finals. The two of them have had a good friendship building up since Christian's debut and Jungle Boy winning over him. Christian obviously reeling off of a loss from All Out, but looking very good momentum-wise going into this Trios tournament to crown the first AEW Trios champion. We advance the storyline, it gains heat, these two do good, and it's a pretty good segment. Afterwards, we have an announcement that I think I misspoke pre to this. Ibushi versus Omega happens tonight, but it's not a title match because Ibushi's not ranked high enough, right? But we have a special stipulation. If Ibushi wins this exhibition match challenge, he gets to challenge for the title. So it'll move him up on the card to become number one contender, to challenge for Omega's belt if he's able to do it. Excalibur did the announcement about the two, and we build that up for our main event. That's pretty good. It's 55, not too bad. This actually isn't great, but for what this is, I thought this was going to do a little bit better. Cody Rhodes comes to the ring, and he says that he was going to have a match tonight, but the doctors would not clear him for action. Apparently, the kick from Malachi across his jaw and head months ago has still damaged part of his jaw, and not only that, they believe through scans that there might have still had some issues with minor bleeding in the brain that may not allow him to compete. He says, honestly, he's not sure if he will even ever be cleared again because of the injuries. He doesn't care, though, because it's personal now. He wants Malachi Black on Dynamite and says he can't get a match. He wants an unsanctioned contest where anything will go. Malachi comes out to the stage, and he's just laughing about this and accepts, saying that this will be finally where the legend will die. This does well. Cody does okay. I was hoping for a little bit higher of a segment, but we build up towards Dynamite, a unsanctioned match between Cody Rhodes and Malachi Black. Backstage, we have Kenny Omega with Alex Marvez. Alex Marvez apparently not on screen for some reason. I guess I said that wrong. But it's a backstage about everything, the Elite, about his match tonight. Alex Marvez goes, Kenny, the world wants to know what is going on with the Elite. We haven't seen the Bucks since their loss at All Out. Don Callis interrupts and goes, listen, Marvez, the champion has a lot on his plate right now. And you understand this. The Bucks had a big loss. But that happens to, and the true elite of us, they move on. They don't linger. They get better. And we know they're going to get back to their senses, and they're going to get back onto the team, and they'll step back in line, and they'll get those belts back, because that's what the elite do. They don't just fall down and get knocked down. They come back. Alex goes, okay, well, Kenny, some say that outside of Hangman Page, Kota Ibushi could be really your greatest opponent. And Omega's pissed off at this point and rips the mic away from Callis to be able to talk at Alex Marvez, and goes like, you don't get to mention Hangman Page to me. He's worthless. He's a nobody. He's not on the level of a Kota Ibushi, and he never will be. But, unfortunately for Ibushi, he will soon find out that I'm not the man I was 3 years ago. I've gotten better. I've gotten stronger. I've gotten more calculated. And now he has no chance at stopping me. So, still idolizes Ibushi, but at this point thinks he's definitely his better. Hangman is a worthless nobody, according to Kenny. Still upset about him. Segment gets a 49. It's a little underwhelming, actually, though the performance by Kenny Omega was fantastic. We have our champion match against Britt Baker with Ruby Soho. This match is okay. It's a 58. It's decent. Britt Baker defeats Ruby Soho in 8 minutes and 22 seconds by submission and makes defense number 2 of the women's world title. Ruby tries as she might, but she's not able to defeat Britt Baker. Afterwards, they do a little bit of a beatdown on Ruby Soho, got the crowd hotter. After that, though, Thunder Rosa comes out to make the save, stares down Britt Baker, and obviously has a bit of a clash between everybody. This segment's kind of trash. It's 44. It's not bad, but it's not what we want to be here. And we build up that momentum between Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker. We have the other of our semifinals for our King of Trios tournament. We got the Factory versus the Best Friends. It did not have much heat and apparently had terrible wrestling. The Best Friends defeat the Factory in 6 minutes. Orange Cassidy pins Aaron Solo after a super kick. Cassidy head and shoulders above everybody else. And we move the Best Friends to the finals. So it's going to be the Best Friends versus the Lucha Express with Christian Cage. Yeah, Aaron Solo, Nick Comparado not doing great here. Anthony Ogogo not doing great either. I think we need to send all of them to Dark and get them boosted up. Wheeler Yuta not doing great either. But yeah, I mean, Chuck Taylor doing okay. Orange Cassidy doing much better. Gets us a 52. After that, Ogogo punches Orange Cassidy and injures him, gets him right in that sort of that kidney shot. So Orange Cassidy's going to be going into this match weak and injured, as we see the Best Friends versus Jurassic Express fight for the Trios title. We have Andrade coming out with Pentagon and Rey Fenix, the champions. They had betrayed and abandoned Pac. Now they've come with Andrade, and Chavo's obviously coming with him, beside him. He said, and Andrade says, I have an important announcement. And he announces the debut of his new powerhouse, a member of the family, Rush. Rush comes out, and Chavo actually looks confused because he was not told that there was going to be a debut. Andrade looks at Chavo and says, thank you, but your services are no longer required. Before Chavo can even react, Rush attacks him and lays him out. Andrade grabs the microphone from Chavo and says, wrestling is more than just what I do it for. It's not just about the matches. It's about legacy. It's about my family. It's about my heritage. These men here in the ring are now also my family. This man is also my family. Ric Flair's music comes out, goes, and much woos happen in the arena as Ric Flair comes out to become the team's new manager. And we introduce the Familia of Andrade, the Lucha Brothers, Rush, and Ric Flair managing them. And he says, the Familia, we have an unbreakable bond, a love of professional wrestling, a passion to become the ídolos, the idols, to live on forever, to pass that legacy on. That's why the entire locker room is now on notice. Because you're looking at your current tag champions, but you're also looking at Rush, your future TNT champion. And, of course, Andrade El Idolo, your future world champion. So we formed essentially the Latin Four Horsemen, which is super cool. So we got Pentagon, Phoenix, Rush, and Andrade as this tight-knit family team led by Ric Flair. I love it. If they don't do it in real life, they should. It's going to be great. I can't wait. Andrade looked good. Ric Flair looked good. Pentagon and Alex Abrahambres had great chemistry on the outside. We were hinting at a heel turn. Can we get the heel turn happening here? I guess not. Moving on from that, of course, we have Eddie Kingston versus Miro for the TNT title, the rematch. That Miro had his wife cheat to win. In this situation, though, Eddie is able to scout it and actually in 11 minutes defeats Miro, giving him that blackout lariat, and wins the TNT title away from Miro. These two had a pretty good match. Miro was a slightly stronger performer at 69. Eddie Kingston had a 62. The match only got a 57, though. We lose some heat for the storyline. And, it's interesting. I'm shocked that this was a lower rating than their in-ring performance. But Eddie Kingston gets a big win. Gets to celebrate afterwards in a really great segment as he jumps into the crowd and celebrates in his hometown. He's there just outside of Yonkers, being their new TNT champion. The crowd is going nuts, and we get a great win in his hometown and becomes a great babyface champion for the TNT title. We have CM Punk, Sting, and Darby Allin in a tag match against 2.0. This match is pretty good. It's actually really, really good. Sting had a 72. Darby Allin had a 66. CM Punk had an 82. Daniel Garcia had a 40. 39 for Jeff Parker, and Matt Lee had a 34. CM Punk standing out. We get Darby Allin a win. He ends up getting the pin and pins Matt Lee with a coffin drop. CM Punk, though, standing up head and shoulders above everybody else. And we get a 68. Not too bad. And finally, not finally, we have one more after this. We got Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. In this match, it's 11 minutes, 12 minutes, almost a 12-minute match here. It's exceptional, and I think we need to continue doing this. Bryan Danielson defeats Jon Moxley by submission, brings back the cattle mutilation, and ends up winning one over Jon Moxley, who's been attacking him all this night. Jon Moxley had an 81, Bryan Danielson had an 85, and we continue the storyline about Jon Moxley hating outsiders, and we'll see how he handles this loss to Bryan Danielson. Gets a 76, it got the crowd buzzing. Gonna be a problem going into our main event. The crowd might be burned out after this. Bryan tries to shake Jon's hand as a sign of good and show of respect here, and Jon stomps away in anger. So at this point, we could have Moxley move on to something else. I think we might keep them together and do some stuff for a bit more, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys would be interested in seeing. But I think there's legs that we can kind of move as Jon Moxley continues to go heel and become more bitter and resentful. We could move some escalations up, maybe a 2 out of 3 falls or something like that. There's things that we could do with them if we need to. Gets us a 68 for this segment. And whoops. Okay, that was weird. So somehow it double skipped through Kenny's match here. I don't know how that happened. I must have double clicked it or lagged or something, and now I can't get back to show you this. So that's a real bummer. Okay, so what the hell just happened? We'll bring it back up on the screen to show you, but we had Kenny Omega versus Kota Ibushi, and I'm going to do this from memory. 17-minute match, 63 rating, and Kenny Omega loses this exhibition match. Kota Ibushi does win and beat him in our main event. It's actually an underperformer compared to our co-main event with Bryan and Jon Moxley. But Kota Ibushi gets a win, which means he does get the challenge for the title. Kenny Omega is wrong. Ibushi is still good, or still just as good as him. And afterwards, we have the Elite come out to attack. So the Bucks and Adam Cole show up. You know, and lots of Adam Cole babies coming in. We get a story time from Adam Cole and the Bucks, and they say, they're here. There's a little bit of a hug between Kenny and everybody, and Adam Cole says, he's here. It's so good to be back with friends. He's reunited with the Bucks, and how excited he is to be here, because there's a lot of people in the back that he's still got business with that he has to attend to, but he's so excited to reunite with everybody. They give the Too Sweet out to the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega. And right before the Coyotes kiss and they meet their touch, we got Adam Cole and the Young Bucks flip their hands over and reveal a big old middle finger. Kenny and the Good Brothers look real shocked, and that shock fades very quickly into pain as they all eat super kicks from the Bucks and Adam Cole. We got bam, just a hit. They hit all of them. They attack Kenny Omega. They lift up Kota Ibushi, who was in the ring, checking on him before giving a triple super kick to him. Everybody is leveled, and the show ends with the Bucks and Adam Cole leaving the ring at the ramp. Clearly, the Bucks have left the Elite, have reunited with Adam Cole, and formed their own splinter thing, leaving Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers in the lurch and injured as they have new competition, new enemies, after Adam Cole has reunited and reformed a group with the Bucks. Makes sense. We'll have to learn more about it, but Adam Cole may have some problems with Kenny Omega, and he's come back with it. This segment gets a 71. Very good way to end the show. And ultimately, that ends us with a 67, which does not lose us points. That's good. So we actually gained some points. We gained 1 point. We gained a little bit. We saved ourselves a little bit there. I'm still upset about how that glitch happened that jumped out ahead. I don't even know. I didn't even see it. It literally just jumped forward, which is really annoying. But either way, we'll make do with it. We'll make a speech. I think we want to call out Adam Cole. I think we want to call out Darby Allin. And Chris Statlander. Also pointed out as a good example. Make everybody pleased. All right, we got some news. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. First of all, the show was great. Drawn a lot of praise. We getting some time to heal. Lance Archer's feeling a little injured. Santana got that strained wrist, and we had a 1.601 viewers, which is a 1.2 million, which is very good. Overall, okay. Good show. I think that was a very solid. I'm happy with what had transpired as best as to our ability. Is anybody upset? Well, Pac has some minor morale. Brian Pillman, there's some minor morale issues again. I might take this off. Let me know if I should just take that setting off and just not deal with it, because it's a little burdensome to have to deal with these constant morale issues just from being left off a show. With a roster that deep and the fact they can work anywhere, it really shouldn't come into play, to be honest. But that was the show. It was a long one. Sorry for the technical snafus. We did regain some momentum chips, so we're not in danger. But that could flip at any time, and that'd be bad news bears for us. So something we'll have to manage and keep an eye on. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you next time.